Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Mercedes. In today's video, I have polishes to share with you all for October polish pickup.
Show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet.
If you haven't heard of what Polish Pickup is, it's a monthly collab between indie makers. They come together every month and they create limited edition items. A lot of you guys know it for polish, but they create all sorts of different items: hand care, cuticle, lotions, waxes. Polish Pickup is always centered around a theme. This month's theme is natural phenomenon, so makers will create items, polishes that based off of this theme. Some items are capped, meaning that there's only a certain amount that are created, and once they sell out, that is it. You can't get your hands on them anymore. Sometimes makers will add to their cap if a product does really well. Just a tip, I think this is right, but when wishlisting opens, and I'll get into that, but when wishlisting opens, I think makers can see what people are adding to their wish list, or at least get an idea. So say like you have a certain brand and you have like 10 people that added that polish to their wish list. I think makers can see that, so they sort of have an idea if they're gonna sell out. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. But anyways, once they're gone, that's it. But sometimes makers will add additional. A good way to keep track of this is through their Facebook page, Polish Pickup Pack, which I will link down below. Polish Pickup always opens the first Friday of every month, and then they close that following Monday. This is a pre-order, so once shop closes, you will get your items in about 3 to 4 weeks after that. I can't wait for you guys to see all of these items, all of these polishes. We have a lot of beautiful ones, so let's get into it. First up, we have 1422 Designs, and this is La New Auroras, priced at $13, and there's a cap of 150 bottles. This is inspired by a photo that the maker's husband took of the Northern Lights while they were camping on Lake Lalanu in Michigan. It's an inky blue base polish packed with pink, orange, gold, green Aurora shimmer and hollow flakies. So on the first coat, we go on a little bit sheer, but on that second coat, we really built up that beautiful base. Now, I know this is an inky blue polish, but I think because we have all of that beautiful shimmer in here, that it's really changing that color, that base color, because we're getting a lot of the pink shimmer in here. We're getting a little bit of green. I think I see it anyways at extreme angles. And then those hollow flakies are so pretty. I like how they're not super small and how they're sort of this like medium to small size, because it really gives character to this polish and just makes it look so pretty and fun. Now I'm getting some of the gold and the orange shifts at extreme angles. This polish was just so pretty, and just the formula in itself was so easy to work with. I was fine with 2 coats. I'm gonna say long or short nails, 2 to 3 coats, just depending on your preference and how prominent your nail line is. But really enjoyed this polish. It was beautiful and super easy to work with. Pictured are 2 coats of 1422 Designs, La New Auroras with a glossy top coat. Next up, we have BCB Lacquers, and this is, okay, let me say this slowly. It's a phenomenon. Priced at $13.50, and there's 400 of these available, and it's inspired by the Chappelle Rowan song. This is a black jelly with a purple blue magnetic, pull pink orange glass flakes, and green purple blue glass flakies. On that first coat, you can see we are getting a lot of that beautiful purple pigment already. The magnet hovers over, and then immediately all of that purple pigment gets transferred to that center where the magnet was, and then we can start really seeing that black jelly base. Second coat, again, super pigmented. I'm going to recommend 2 to 3 coats for everybody, just depending on how you on how you polish and your preference. I was happy with just 2 coats. The flakies, we were able to get a ton more on that second coat. And then you can see here, the magnetic pull isn't super strong, but it does give you a lot of depth and dimension. I really enjoyed the flakies in this polish. With this darker base, we are still able to see the beautiful colored flakies. They're pink and orange. We see a little bit of that green at extreme angles. And then I see a little bit of yellow too. During certain hand movements that I'm doing. But loving this color. I feel like I get a mix of a nice bright purple and then obviously the black to give it a little something different. So lots of edge, but with those flakies in there, it makes it look more feminine like, which is funny because of the name of this polish. But really enjoyed this one, and I think a lot of people will too. Pictured are 2 coats of BCB Lacquers. It's a phenomenon with a glossy top coat. BCB Lacquers is also bringing us a cuticle oil. This is pumpkin spice latte, priced at $8, and there's a cap of 250. I love BCB Lacquers cuticle oils. I especially love it for the scents because they're always spot on. But now let's talk about the products. So we have jojoba oil, coconut oil, sunflower, avocado, almond oil, tea tree oil, and skin safe fragrance. This is a twist off cap, which I really enjoy because I know my oil is not going to spill, and it's just a nice little click, 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 and I get what I need. Now this scent has notes of ground coffee, sweet cream, pumpkin, nutmeg, ginger, vanilla, and sugar. So it is a sweet lover's haven. I love all sorts of sweet bakery scents. And I love pumpkin spice lattes and just pumpkin spice in general. So I really enjoyed this one. BCB Lacquers, if you're looking for, you know, a scented oil that is going to smell like what it says it is, then like you need to try a BCB Lacquers cuticle oil. I'm telling you, like Brittany is the queen of cuticle oil scents or just scents in general. She always gets it spot on, and the actual ingredients and the actual product does really help. I really enjoy them. I use them when I'm swatching all of the time, and then just on the daily as well. So we have BCB Lacquers, the cuticle oil. This is the pumpkin spice latte scent. Here we have Cadillaquer, and this is Everlasting Storm, priced at $14, and there is no cap. This is inspired by lightning. It's a dusty blue base with strong magenta to orange to yellow shimmer. On that first coat, we go on a little bit sheer, but you guys are going to see how lovely it builds up. This is honestly one of the shiftiest polishes that I have seen in a really long time. I was blown away. When I first saw it in the bottle, I was like, oh, this is a pretty color. I'm not really sure if it's for me or not. And then as soon as I finished polishing and I was moving my hands around, I was just like, wow, this is definitely for me. So I end up going in with a third coat. I think long or short nails, 3 coats will work best for everybody, just to smooth everything out, really build up that beautiful base. And then you guys can see right here on the solo finger swatch, we're getting lots of that glorious orange to yellow shimmer. That dusty blue base is still there, but the magenta shimmer is definitely the star of the show. So you can see here just all of the shifts just coming alive and coming through. This is such a juicy, like vibrant polish. Now, I feel like the videos aren't going to do this justice with the amount of shifts that I saw in person and just how easily that it was able to shift. I am going to post a video on Instagram so you guys can see, because I'm telling you, the shifts were just like mind-blowing. But I really enjoyed this polish. I feel like it's gonna be a great one to lead into the winter time, and then as well into like the beginning of the year and into Valentine's Day. It's just such a beautiful color that you can wear all year round. Pictured are 3 coats of Cadillaquer Everlasting Storm with a glossy top coat. Here we have Cuticula, and this is Blue Lava, priced at $13, and there is no cap, and this is inspired by Blue Lava. It is a charcoal jelly base full of blue aqua shifting glass flakes, orange gold shifting glass flakes, and black flakies. Cuticula does flaky polishes so well, and particularly like jelly flaky polishes, just so beautifully. We can see we go on sheer on the first coat. On the second coat, we're really building up the base. We're getting a lot of that grayish, sort of grungy, darker base. And then the flakies that are in here are so illuminating and so vibrant. So we're getting aqua, we're getting orange and gold. I see a little bit of violet / purple, a little bit of lavender as well. Such a nice variation of colors in this darker, sort of like dark denim blue base. I'm going to recommend 3 coats for everybody just to really build up the polish and make it look like what you're looking at in the bottle. And then because this is very flaky dense, you're probably going to want to go in with a glitter smoother and then a glossy top coat, or just a nice juicy top coat just to smooth everything out and really give you a nice plump finished look. But really enjoyed this one. It's like not too dark, not too bright. Again, another beautiful polish for winter time, especially if you get tired of wearing your dark vampier shades and just want to spice things up but still wear something on the darker end. Pictured are 3 coats of Cuticula Blue Lava with a glossy top coat. Next up we have Glam Polish, and this is Intense Bioluminescence, priced at $13.50, and there's a cap of 400 bottles. It's inspired by bioluminescence in Maldives. This is a black jelly base with blue-purple shifting shimmers and aqua reflective glitters. I remember when reflective glitter first came out, and I really fell in love with it, and I'm still in love with reflective glitter, but Glam Polish was that brand that just always did it right, and I really truly enjoyed a lot of the reflective glitter polishes that Angie the maker had come out with, and still enjoying them. I know sometimes reflective glitter and polishes that the formula can be on the thicker end. I didn't experience that with this polish. I was very mindful, and I went in for 3 thinner coats, and it worked out beautifully. We're getting a beautiful shifty polish. We see the black jelly base, but the blue and purple shifting shimmers are definitely the star of the show. The aqua reflective glitters just really make this polish come together and really, get the inspiration going, right? When you think of the bioluminescence, you think of just sparkly waters, glimmery waters, and it's just so beautiful. And this is it in the sun. I usually don't swatch in the sun or during the day, but during this time I did, so I was able to capture some of the polishes I swatched this time around in sunlight, and it was just glorious. That's why I love reflective glitter, just because it can be super sparkly no matter what type of lighting you're in. You can be indoor with crappy lighting and that thing is still going to sparkle and glimmer. And that's what I love about it. And just for the fact that it gives you this just plump look, plump, juicy, like finished look. I'm just all about that. If you haven't noticed, but love this one. Pictured are 3 coats of Glam Polish, Intense Bioluminescence with a glossy top coat. Next up we have by Dany Vianna, and this is Frozen Bubbles, priced at $14, and there's a cap of 500 bottles. And welcome to the channel by Dany Vianna. This is inspired by Frozen Lake in Alberta. It's a sheer blue jelly base with satin and matte white glitter dots. This was such a fun one to work with. Now those chunky white glitters in there, you might have to do a little bit of placement and just being mindful when you are polishing, just because they're very slippery and they move around. I tried my best just to sort of let them lay where they wanted to lay, and I felt like I got a nice finished look because of that. This would make for a great like jelly sandwich if you wanted to pair it with other polishes, or if you want to just leave it on its own. I think it's beautiful on its own. It's so different. It definitely gives you squishy vibes. This is a true jelly polish, so you will have nail line showing. I use 3 coats, so I'm going to recommend 2 to 3 for everybody, just depending on how you want to use this polish, right? If you're thinking of doing some sort of sandwiching effect, you may want to do 1 or 2 coats. If you are thinking about using it as a topper or using it as a base and then adding a topper, there's just so many fun ways that you can use this. I really liked the pond effect that we're getting with the white glitter dots, and I love how the base of the polish changes up that color of those white dots as well. Gives it character. Pictured are 3 coats of by Dany Vianna Frozen Bubbles with a glossy top coat. Here we have Garden Path Lacquers, and this is Told the Northern Lights to Keep Shining, priced at $13.50, and there's 1,000 of these available. Usually we get something in like the hundreds. I don't think that's a typo though. This is inspired by the Northern Lights the maker was able to see from her home in Ohio in May of this year. This is described as a grape purple base filled with magenta holographic micro glitters, blue green aurora shimmer, and holographic micro flakes. Garden Path Lacquers does it again, guys. They do it again. They have been killing the game with these micro glitter polishes, micro flaky polishes. I don't know what kind of magical potion is going into these bottles, but it is definitely beautiful. The glow factor is just so intense. We're getting so much of that blue-green aurora shimmer just peeking through. Actually, it's not peeking through. It is shining through from that base. The grape purple base, we're still seeing a lot of, which is fantastic. Sometimes when you have really intense shimmers, it can take away from your base color, but I don't see that happening here. The holographic micro flakies, they just add more sparkle, and you can see the rainbows on the nails as well. Really enjoyed this one. I have a feeling a lot of people are also going to like this, and I just wanted you guys to see, like, look at it in like overcast, like how beautiful is it? It's still super glowy. Here it is in some sunlight, just dancing. The shimmers are just dancing away. I had to keep showing it off because it was just glorious. The sparkle was just so amazing. Pictured are 3 coats of Garden Path lacquers, told the Northern Lights to keep shining with a glossy top coat. Alright, Glam Polish is at Pahlish Pickup, and I was so excited when I found out. This is Glowing Whispers, priced at $13.50, and there's a cap of 300 bottles. It's inspired by Aurora Borealis above a serene, snowy landscape. This is described as having shifty, iridescent flakies, green, teal, aurora shimmer, and white glitter mix. So in true, like, Glam Polish form, we go on a little bit sheer on that first coat, and it always surprises me. On the second coat, we just build up to pretty much full opacity on my fuller nails. On my shorter nails, I was completely happy with 2 coats. Now this has a lot of glitter mix, so you saw me sort of moving the brush around. I just wasn't expecting such a handful of glitters just coming out on that brush. So keep that in mind when you're polishing, that there's a lot of flakies in here and there's a lot of glitter mix. So you're definitely going to want to use a glitter smoother and then your glossy top coat over it. I'm going to recommend 2 to 3 coats for everybody, depending on polishing preference. But I'm loving the beautiful shimmer. I definitely see some of that green. I see some teal. The glitter mix that's in here is just stunning. The components are much larger than we have seen or typically seen recently. I feel like it's so refreshing to see chunkier flakies and chunkier glitters in a mix, and still be able to pull it off and look amazing. The blue base, it's still popping, it's still bright. This is a beautiful color that I would wear in the beginning of the year. I've said this a million times, but I love wearing blues in January. I feel like this is going to be a blue polish for me in January for sure. Picture our 2 coats of Glam Polish, Glowing Whispers with a glossy top coat. Next up we have Glisten Glow, and this is Lightning Strikes, priced at $13.50, and there is no cap. And this is inspired by the natural beauty of lightning strikes in the sky on a rainy night. This is a light dove gray jelly polish loaded with color shifting shimmers that shift green, blue, teal, purple, pink, and has a lightning bolt jolt of hollow flakies. I like that description. On the second coat, we are seeing that beautiful light dove base building up. I was okay with 2 coats. I'm going to say 2 to 3 for everybody. I obviously have shorter nails, so, just take that with a grain of salt. The shifts in here are beautiful. We're seeing that wonderful purple and pink. Look at that in just like non-direct lighting. You see how the shadows just cast even more shift. So pretty. The hollow flakies in here are a perfect addition. They're super fine, so it just gives way to a beautiful like sparkle without being too intense and too in your face. I feel like this is a beautiful like wedding color, a beautiful everyday color if you love neutrals. Here it is in the sun, and you can see the hollow flakies just sparkling. It's just such a nice refreshing shade, and I really enjoyed this one. Pictured are 2 coats of Glisten Glow, Lightning Strikes with a glossy top coat. Here we have Night Owl Lacquer, and this is Tree of Life, priced at $13, and there is no cap, and it's inspired by the Cadillaquer, am I saying that right? Cadillaquer Tree of Life that appears to be floating, located in the Olympic National Park in Forks, Washington. This is a linear holographic multichrome that shifts light mossy green to olive green to dark green. The formula for this polish was amazing. You can see on that second coat, full opacity. I'm going to recommend 2 coats for everybody. We're definitely getting the multi-chrome effect. We see that light moss, and then we see the olive green undertones, and then the dark green we can see at extreme angles. Definitely this is a polish where you're going to see those different greens at different times of day, different lighting. So you can see here where I don't have like direct light, it's definitely more of that darker green. You can see the rainbows just peeking out from the linear hollow. Now I find this is not like super fiery and intense, but the hollow is definitely there and you can see it in the sun. You see how we're getting that olive undertone in the sun, but definitely more of a darker green vibe. Really enjoyed this one. Very different than some of the polishes that I own. Definitely a favorite of mine. Spoiler alert. But beautiful polish, amazing, even better formula. This is Owl Lacquer Tree of Life with a glossy top coat. Next up we have Pahlish, and this is Moonbow, priced at $14, and there is no cap. This is inspired by moonbows. This is a sheer violet base packed with copper, pink, green shifting micro flakies. I don't know what it is about this brand, but I've been loving all the polishes they've been coming out with. I feel like it's that type of brand where you see the polish in the bottle, you see it swatched, but then in real life when you actually get it, it's just even more beautiful. That's why I really have been enjoying Pahlish. So you can see on the second coat, we're building up to that beautiful violet base. I did go in for a third coat, so I'm going to recommend 3 coats for everybody. And you can see on the third coat, it just finishes everything off. We get a nice deeper violet purple base, and then we get so much of that copper, pink, green, shifty micro flakies. They are just so sparkly. I feel like just more sparkly than like most micro flakies. I don't know, is it just me, or maybe it could just be because of the color variation of these flakies like blending in with the base. I don't know guys, but this is just stunning. Like, look at this. I feel like there's so much more in this polish, but really it's not. It's just your sheer base with the color shifting flakies, and that is all. So we're definitely seeing some of that green. The copper is definitely the big component that we're seeing the most color shift of. In the sun, this is just even more dazzling. It just illuminates off of the nail. Really enjoyed this one, and I can't wait to wear it as a full manicure because I'm gonna be so obsessed. I know I'm not gonna want to take it off. I didn't want to take it off here as you can see, because I filmed myself so many different ways and so many different angles just showing it off, because I was like, I need to show this off to people so they can truly see how beautiful it is in person. Pictured are 3 coats of Pahlish Moonbow with a glossy top coat. Next up we have Painted Polish, and this is Live, Love, Laugh, priced at $13, and there is no cap, and this is inspired by the powerful force and natural phenomenon that is lava. This is a vampy dark scarlet base with crushed gold metallic flakies. On that first coat, we get amazing coverage, not enough to consider it a 1-coater, so I did go in with a second coat and reached full opacity, so I'm going to recommend 2 coats for everybody. You really don't need more than that. The crushed gold metallic flakies give this polish so much character, and I feel like we're definitely getting lava vibes for sure. This is like your classic vampy polish that can take you into the fall and into the colder months. I love Painted Polish and their formula. I feel like I don't own a painted polish that has a bad formula. They all have amazing coverage, and they all build up so beautifully. And this one definitely met its mark. I'm loving the darker shading that we're getting with this polish, even though there's no like shifty pigments in here. It's just all of the shadows from the components that are in here and just that beautiful vampy shade. Pictured are 2 coats of Painted Polish, Live, Laugh, Lava, it's like a tongue twister, with a glossy top coat. Here we have Penelope Luz, and this is a Divine Sky, priced at $13, and there's 700 of these available. This is inspired by Aurora Borealis. This is a pastel turquoise magnetic with purple red shimmer. Now, I remember getting this. This was like a last minute addition, so I was able to squeeze it into my video. And I remember seeing it and being like, oh, this is a pretty polish, but it's definitely not my sort of vibe. This is like beautiful, guys. I'm sorry I am enabling, but like, you just have to know how beautiful the end product was, and that's where I fell in love with this product, with this polish, was just that end result. So you can see here on the second coat, we get that pastel sort of like baby blue icy look, and then the magnet, we just pull that color right into the center, and we're getting this sort of like reddish pink purple shimmer. The aqua shimmer that we're seeing is running all throughout the nail. This is just glorious. This magnetized is just so beautiful. I could not stop staring at my nails, and like I don't like I don't like pastel baby blue shades. It's just not my vibe. But I was obsessed with this polish, and I was so sad that I had to take it off to like keep swatching other polishes. This is just beautiful, and it really took me by surprise because this was a last minute addition. I didn't mention it in my favorites, but it is definitely a favorite of mine. I really enjoyed it. You can see here like the magnetic part just doing its thing. It's just doing its thing, guys. Pictured are 2 coats of Penelope Luz Divine Sky with a glossy top coat. Next up we have Polished for Days, and this is Out of This World, priced at $13.50, and there is no cap. This is also inspired by Northern Lights. This is a deep teal base with an extremely shifty purple, pink, orange, yellow, green shifting multichrome micro flake shimmer. So you can see on the first coat, you definitely see those micro flakies peeking from my nail bed. On that second coat, we are really building up that base. I know it's described as a deep teal base, but I'm seeing more of a violet, deep purple, like a blackened sort of base. And it could just be because we have a lot of shifty pigment in here. These shimmers are just dancing all throughout the nail. You can see how sparkly it is with me doing like the least amount. Now I know I've seen a lot of pictures with this in its most shiftier states. On me, I felt like I definitely saw these shifts pulling through. And maybe it was my lighting or just how I was angling my nails, or maybe because, I don't know, maybe my second coat might have been a little bit too thick. Regardless, I couldn't get like the intense shifts, but I was still able to get some shifts. Like you can see here that it's definitely shifting to a yellow, to a green. So I think it's really gonna depend on your lighting. Like I think if I had this polish outside in like regular daylight, I don't even know what I was doing there at the end, in like regular daylight, then I think those shifts would come out even more. But I was working with the lights that I had in a darker sort of room, so of course, like I'm not gonna get the most intense shifts unless I'm really underneath that light. But regardless, I was still able to see the beautiful yellow, green, orangey shifts, and then that beautiful inky base. Pictured are 2 coats of Polished for Days, Out of This World with a glossy top coat. Here we have Jen&Berries, and oh my gosh, I hope I'm going to say this right. Berry, I think. Please correct me, guys. This is priced at $13.50, and there's 500 of these available. This one's inspired by Blue Lava. It's an ultramarine blue base with a red gold shifty shimmer and holographic flakies. Loving the vibrancy of this polish. I'm loving the hollow flakies in here, of course, because you know I love that. I love that specific component. I built this up in 2 coats. I'm going to recommend 2 to 3 for everybody, depending on your polishing preference, your style, and your nail line. But I achieved full opacity on my shorter nails in just 2 coats, and I was completely fine with that. The glow from this polish is so beautiful, and usually, like, we're so used to seeing glow from like something copper, something gold, or like that blue shimmer. But this glow is different. It's that red gold. No, it's that red, like pink sort of glow. Yes, this has gold shifty shimmer in here, but I'm seeing more of a reddish pink shifty shimmer. And I love how I'm getting that glow from within with those 2 colors, as opposed to like your typical glowy pigment that we usually see. And then of course the base is just so bright and bold and beautiful. All these components mixed together just make such a beautiful polish. Pictured are 2 coats of Jen&Berries, Happy Berry with a glossy top coat. Here we have Owl Lacquer, and this is the Wave, priced at $13.50, and there is no cap. It's inspired by the Wave, a sandstone rock formation located in Arizona, and one of the nature's great wonders, and on the maker's bucket list to visit. This is a peachy tan crelly with strong red coppery shimmer. I feel like this is so different for Rogue Lacquer. We usually get like bright bold shades or, you know, flaky bombs or something. So I was very pleasantly surprised to see something a little bit different. We're definitely seeing a lot of that red coppery shimmer peeking on through. I feel like it was paired perfectly with this sort of peachier beige base. Now I did go in for a third coat just because I felt like I really wanted to even everything out and just get a nice smooth look on the nail. So I'm going to recommend 2 to 3 coats for everybody, just depending on your nail line and all of that, because this is a lighter sort of shade. Usually I don't go for peachy shades just because I feel like it conflicts with my skin tone, but I thought this one looked really, really amazing. I loved it more when I wasn't in direct lighting, which like 99% of my day is going to be in non-direct lighting. So I tried to capture that so you guys could see. You'll see it in a clip soon. But the glow from within with this polish was so beautiful. I think this will make a wonderful pedicure if you want something neutral but with some sparkle. So here it is right here where I have like the lights towards the right, but it's just regular light on the left and overhead. And it really did give this beautiful natural look on the nails with that coppery shimmer just peeking its way through. Pictured are 3 coats of Rogue Lacquer the Wave with a glossy top coat. Here we have Stella Chroma, and this is Corpse Bride Bouquet, priced at $13.50, and there is no cap, and it's inspired by the corpse flower. This is a very rare blooming flower. I know I've looked this up a while back because PPU had some sort of theme where I think it was like deadly plants or something like that, and this particular flower was used, and it's a very interesting flower, let me tell you. But anyways, this is a medium purple packed with chunky shimmer that shifts green, gold, and blue. Formula spot on, super smooth. Stella Chroma always has amazing formulation. I'm going to recommend 2 coats for everybody. That is all that you need. I'm loving this darker, creamier purple base. It almost leans a little bit blue as well. That green and gold and blue shifty shimmer in here was just so pretty. I love this one going into the winter months. It gives me a nice darker sort of vampire vibe, but still very airy and light because we're getting a lot of that nice lighter shimmer just peeking on through. In the sun, this was even more glorious. In just overcast lighting, it was stunning. One of my favorites. I love this one. Pictured are 2 coats of Stella Chroma Corpse Bride Bouquet with a glossy top coat. Next up, we have Sweet and Sour Lacquer, and this is Acidic Abyss, priced at $13, and there's 500 of these available. This is inspired by the Danakil Depression in Ethiopia. This is a olive green jelly base with lime green metallic flakes and copper orange green iridescent flakies. So it goes on like a true jelly on that first coat. On the second coat, we're getting a heaping amount of those beautiful iridescent and metallic flakies in here. We're seeing the orange and the copper peeking on through. Now I did go in for a third coat, and I felt like that just sealed the deal. So I'm going to recommend 3 coats for everybody. So we're getting this beautiful olivey green undertone polish with lots of yellow in the mix. These flakies, the iridescent flakies, are so pretty. They have that mirror-like finish, so we're getting a lot of glimmer and glint to the nails. I love the contrasting coppery orange effect that we're getting from the flakies and this base in this polish. The shadows in the nails. This is just like such a pretty polish for the fall time. If you are a fan of those like swampier, like ugly, pretty colors, you're gonna love this one. Not that this is an ugly polish, it's not, but you know, those pruglies that we call it. I really enjoyed this polish. Pictured are 3 coats of Sweet and Sour Lacquer, Acidic Abyss with a glossy top coat. And the final polish is Zombie Claw, and this is Paranormal, priced at $13.50, and there's a cap of 300 bottles, and it's inspired by Paranormal Phenomenon. This is a thermal that is clear to dark gray, so it's clear, and then it turns to a dark gray, almost black, and then it's loaded with black flakies. Zombie Claw Polish, they do this formulation amazing. There was a whole collection with this sort of like flaky vibe and all sorts of different colors. Definitely check it out. I think they're still available. But like Sabrina is the queen of this sort of finish. She does it so good. I did 2 coats and I was fine with that just because I knew it was a thermal. It was a clear to darker thermal, and I really wanted those flakies just to really pop. I didn't want it to be too packed on the nail and take away from this cool sort of a finish. So here you can see that it's, you know, sort of getting to that more clearer transition. This is such a pretty polish, and I wouldn't think that it would be something that I would want to wear again, but I definitely do. In the more clearer state, it's giving like lacy vibes, lacy Halloween vibes, right? Really enjoyed this one. Super pretty. I'm going to recommend 2 to 3 coats for everybody. Pictured are 2 coats of Zombie Claw Paranormal with the glossy top coats. All right, guys. Choosing favorites was really, really hard because I have a handful of more polishes that I did really enjoy. I enjoyed all of them. I really did. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to pick a few. And the first one being Pahlish, and this is Moonbow. Like, blown away. Like, oh my goodness. I was able to swatch during the day, so I got this in the sun. Even when it's not in the sun, even if it's just like indirect lighting or like overcast, oh my god, like totally obsessed with this. The flakies in here just glimmer off of the nail. The shifts in here, just so beautiful. And I mean, honestly, if you wanted to use this as a topper, you probably could. I wouldn't. I would just build it up and just admire my nails with this built up in 3 coats. Stunning. Cadillaquer, and this is Everlasting Storm. Oh my goodness. I don't think I've ever seen a more shiftier polish. Looking at this in the bottle, I was like, oh, this is a pretty polish. Put it on my nails, and then I was moving my hand around and I noticed all the shifts and stuff. And then looking back at the swatch photos, I was like, whoa, this is a gorgeous polish with a fantastic formula. Glam Polish, so happy to see them in the game. This is Glowing Whispers. Loved the color. This is definitely a January polish for me. I like to wear blues in January. The glitters, everything in here was just speaking to me. Owl Lacquer, this is Tree of Life. Really enjoyed this. The formula was so good, so easy to work with. The hollow really glimmered during the day, during the sun as well. And even now, like peeking through, this is like overcast. I just have my ring light here. You can sort of see like the hollow trying to come out. But I love this grungy shade, this grungy color. This is going to be perfect going into the colder months. All right, guys, last one, I promise. Stella Chroma, this is Corpse Bride Bouquet. First of all, fantastic formula. I know all of these, I'm saying the formula is fantastic, but really they were. The kids are like trying to sneak in and like opening the door little by little. These shifts were like just spot on. And then of course, just like the color, it's just this perfect shade of purple where it's not too bright, but not too dark, and you can still wear this in the winter, you can wear this in the summer. So definitely a polish to wear all year round, especially if you're a seasonal polish wearer like I am, and sometimes you're like, is this like something I should buy now? I'm gonna hold on to it for too long. I can definitely see myself wearing this in the winter, and then even on Valentine's Day too. All right, everybody, that is all that I have for you today. I didn't mention wish listing, I forgot. So wish listing always opens the first Sunday of the week that polish pickup is opening. So you're able to add items onto your wish list. So when shop opens on that Friday, you can automatically add things to your cart. So on that note, let me know what you are planning on wish listing. Let me know what is a 100% must. You need it. I always like to know what people are thinking of getting. These are just some of the polishes, some of the items that are going to be available this month. There are so many other offerings that you are going to be able to choose from. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next one.